Are your breasts hanging a little lower than they used to? Are you ready to get back to that perky bosom you had in your 20s? Laurie felt that she needed to give her chest a bit of a raise. Let's watch her journey to have a breast lift procedure today on The Younger You.
I'm on top of the world, now I'm living, and the good just gets better, keeps on giving. Not even close to the end, it's just beginning. Life is getting lighter while the days are getting brighter, yeah. And if it's good, I won't even worry anymore. Took all my care, still can kick them all out the door. Go on and try, come and tell me what you're waiting for. Move and keep them going till your life is overflowing, yeah.
Welcome to The Younger You. Today on the show we're talking about breast lifts. Breast lift surgery raises and firms your bust by removing skin and reshaping the surrounding tissue. Let's talk to the doctor who will see perform today's lift surgery, Dr. Barson. Hey, Dr. Barson, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Good, nice to see you again.
Thank you.
Okay, breast lift surgery. What causes the breast to sag? And I know it's not just age.
Well, there's actually, for most women that have had children, when they go through the pregnancy, the breast gets very large and it stretches out the internal ligaments,
Okay.
Cooper's ligaments. That actually gives your breast shape and it holds it in place. But as the breast gets larger and larger, those actually get stretched. And then when the breast reduces after the pregnancy, then those suspensory ligaments have been loosened, so the breast can't go back to its same shape, and it lays down a little bit. And the skin also holds the shape of the breast, and it gets stretched.
Okay. What happens through breast lift surgery?
Well, there's a number of ways of doing this. We just use a more minimally invasive, and it always removes skin.
Okay. So basically it's purely removing the skin first and then lifting it up.
Yes.
But there's different techniques.
Yes.
Are there different incisions for the breast lift? And what type did you do on Laurie?
Yes, there's a whole range of them. We do the minimally invasive, which is called a Benelli.
Okay.
It goes by other names, but it has the least amount of scar. The other ones, they're basically called lollipop.
Okay.
And the other one is called the boat anchor.
Okay.
And each one of them has a different amount of scarring and skin that's removed. What we do is the minimal. The most, what you call a boat anchor scar, usually has about 18 inches of scar on each breast.
Oh my gosh.
And so what we do is something more like 3 to 4 inches.
Okay. Because you're removing skin when you're doing the breast lift, does it reshape the breast at the same time?
Yes, it does. It pulls it up. It repositions the nipple, not by taking the nipple and moving it, but just by tightening the skin around it. That causes the breast itself to come up.
Does it resize their bra? Will they need to change their bra size?
They may.
Okay.
However, probably not, because the volume of the breast has not changed.
Okay.
Only the skin envelope has changed.
Okay.
It's been made smaller.
Well, with Laurie's procedure, you actually did some what we call liposuction on the breast as well?
Yes, this is the most minimally invasive way of reducing the size of a breast. With her and a lot of other women, they have an asymmetry. One side is bigger than the other one. And some people don't want to go through more extensive surgery to have a lot of tissue removed. So the simplest way is actually to take it out by liposuction, because the breast is primarily fat.
That I did not know.
Yes, it is. It's almost entirely fat. We have women that have nursed children that they have no more breast than a boy.
Wow.
The milk gland is in there, but when it's deflated and not full of milk, it occupies very little space. So the majority of breast is actually just fat.
What I find interesting is we're going to be seeing that your patient wasn't put under general anesthesia. Is this common?
Yeah, it is for us. This is a much better way in some ways to do smaller operations. And actually it has less bruising, swelling, pain, and downtime.
Who is the perfect candidate for a breast lift surgery?
Well, it's somebody that's had stretching of the tissues, the Cooper's ligaments in the skin, and just wants the nipple more up where it used to be without having the extensive surgery.
Okay, let's take a quick look at this list about whether or not a breast lift is the right option for you. A breast lift raises the breasts, removing and tightening the skin whilst reshaping to create a more youthful look. However, a breast lift will not alter the size, and you may want to consider a breast implant or reduction in addition to the lift. A good candidate is someone that is physically healthy and has maintained a stable weight. Of course, always avoid smoking when involved with any surgery you might consider. You might also consider this surgery if you do not like the shape of your breasts, they sag or are elongated. Or, guess what? If one of your breasts is lower than the other, this could be for you. It's great to know that women don't only have the option to enlarge their breasts, they can reshape and lift not only their chest, but also their confidence. After the break, we will continue to talk to Dr. Barson, and then we will meet our patient, Laurie. Looking for the perfect beauty product? Each week, The Younger You highlights a standout product in the health and beauty industry. Head over to theyoungeryou.tv and check it out. Love to hear your comments. It's giveaway time on The Younger You. Enter for a chance to win a BlendTech Express blender and the new Blend Fresh product pack valued at $850. Be sure to head over to theyoungeryou.tv/contests to enter. The following footage contains actual surgical procedures. It may be too graphic for some viewers. Before the break, we heard about the possibilities women have when it comes to their bust. Now we're going to hear more from Dr. Barson, and then we're going to go and watch as our patient Laurie gets her breast reduction surgery. How many of your patients get a breast lift without having an augmentation?
That would be the majority, actually.
Okay.
Changing the breast side either with adding fat to the breast or removing fat to the breast is not as important as moving the skin.
Is it an invasive type of surgery, having a breast lift?
The breast lift we do is minimally invasive.
Okay.
It involves only skin, and we don't take out any tissue. And so it has much quicker recovery.
Well, that's what I was about to ask you. What's the recovery time like, Dr. Barson?
Well, it's mainly just healing of the skin incision, which usually is 7 to 10 days.
Now, and you also said earlier on about scarring. How much would a patient be expected to see with a scar?
Well, the scar is really just the amount of scar around the areola. And usually that amounts to about 3 inches if you actually measure around the circle. The lollipop scar is more like 8 or 10 inches, and the boat anchor scar is like 18 inches on each breast.
A woman's chest, a perfect size would be like a C cup.
I don't think there's a perfect size for anybody.
I don't think there's necessarily a perfect size. I'm kind of against the whole artificial thing. I think that, I don't know, I think that you should just be confident the way that you are. I think that's probably the most attractive thing. If you can just be confident with the way you are, then that's great.
Now that we've heard from Dr. Barson, let's head into his office so we can watch Laurie's procedure.
So what we're going to do is we're going to identify a few marks here. This would be kind of a midline. What we're going to do is we're going to bring this nipple up to about here, and what we do is we make a circumferential incision around here, and then when we tie it up, it comes up like this. And what it does is it avoids having a large scar, you know, the 18-inch scar from a conventional breast lift. And the only scar is around the areola. Okay, we're going to use a 45mm sizer. Go ahead and, there you go. What we do is just kind of make a very shallow mark, but this is the way we have everything perfectly circular. And then we'll overmark it with a surgery pen. And so this is going to be our second line. We've already marked the first one, and it'll actually have a little more skin coming off. But when we took the fat out of this breast, the areola actually shrank, and so we didn't have as much. And then we'll do some cardinal markings. so we can line everything up towards the end. So now I'm going to overmark them just a little bit, because when you start to working, these lines tend to vanish, strangely enough. So it's a little different when you do this under local anesthesia. So we just go right under the lines where we're going to do most of our work. Do just a little bit more numbing, a little localized numbing. You can see the extent of the white area. This is what we've already numbed, so the blood has kind of left that area, because we want this to be as much of a bloodless field as we can get. This is where we incise it. This is our first incision. Our next is going to be on the outer rim. So this is de-epithelializing. We're taking the epithelium, the upper layer of skin off, but we leave the lower layer. So we're going to need that to tie into.
After the break, we will watch the conclusion to the surgery, then I'm taking it to the streets to ask you a few questions. Check out the Younger You website to watch full episodes of the show, read about our product of the week, and get useful tips and tricks to help you achieve the Younger You. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for updates on the show and how to join the Younger You conversation. The following footage contains actual surgical procedures. It may be too graphic for some viewers. Laurie not only wanted to reduce the size of her breasts, but she also wanted to give them a lift. We will continue to watch as Dr. Barson shows us how this is done. Let's take a look.
I will buzz a few of these things so they don't bleed quite too much. Okay, now, kind of about 5 millimeters. Now hold this a little tighter. Squeeze. I've removed the epidermis. And now I'm cutting through the dermis itself, the thicker part of the skin. We're coming down into fat. Because basically this is fat. And take a little wiggle rim on this side also. Go all the way through the epidermis. And you see the fat underneath. See the yellow fat? So you see the dermis is actually quite thick. When you look at it, it's like, it's a lot thicker than most people think. Skin is actually quite thick. So what we're doing now is just undermining the skin a little bit so that it makes a better result. It frees the skin up so it doesn't flatten the breast. So we're actually pulling from clear over here, not just right here. Now we put a lot of water in here, so a lot of the stuff that's coming out is actually water. It's not really blood. See, it's very watery. Blood is actually thick, almost like Caro syrup. So if you see that kind of blood, then it's different.
Yeah, definitely. I think the same thing that could be there. I've had a couple of friends who've done it before. The reasoning behind them getting breast reductions is just self-confidence. They're really self-conscious about it.
I don't think that a reduction is necessarily looked at in the same way as an enhancement. I think sometimes a breast reduction for a woman is actually very medically needed. I know my mom, she probably needs one because it takes a toll on your back.
I think a breast reduction would be different because I think a lot of times they do it because they're uncomfortable.
Well, what we're doing is we're making a kind of a purse string affair. Let's see, now that's good. And when we're finished, it'll have the appearance, strangely enough, of a wagon wheel. Somebody's got a huge breast, you know, they still need a traditional breast lift. Now see, when I pull this, the whole thing just comes together. But this Teflon suture is so slippery. I mean, that's why they make cookware out of it, I guess. That is because it's so slippery, and so when you pull it, it just comes together like that. And so what we're going to do, we're now going to tie 8 knots. Because this stuff is so slippery, you have to tie knots that will never come undone. It's used for a lot of procedures, including heart procedures, because it's so strong. And then what we do is we bury this knot down underneath like that. And then what we will do is go ahead and put the skin together, and the puckering that occurs usually goes away within about 2 to 3 months, and that's just flat. We're going to use a dissolvable suture so that in about a week the suture will just be gone. Some people like to use a subcuticular stitch. I prefer actually just doing a straight running suture on this.
As with any cosmetic surgery, it's important to ask yourself some very important questions before going under the knife. Make sure you are doing this for yourself and not to please anyone else. There are a lot of questions people have about recovery process for a procedure like breast reduction. After your surgery, your incisions will be covered in dressing and bandages. Then you may be given a support bra to help minimize swelling as you heal. Downtime varies by person, but it's recommended that you take at least 1 week off from work. You should also forego any physical activity for about a month post-operation. After surgery, you may feel tired and have a slight pain. This is normal and should go away pretty soon. Coming up, we will be in the studio with Dr. Barson and Laurie to talk about the actual surgery and how it went. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for updates on the show and join the Younger You conversation. It's giveaway time on the Younger You. Enter for a chance to win a Blendtec Express blender and the new Blend Fresh product pack valued at $850. Be sure to head over to theyoungeryou.tv/contests to enter. Laurie wanted to boost her confidence by lifting her bosom. Let's go and chat to Dr. Barson and Laurie to find out if they are happy with the surgery. Let's see if Laurie's results are a perky hit or if they just fall flat. Welcome back. Dr. Barson and I are back in the studio, but this time we're joined by Laurie. We're here to talk about her procedure, but first let's take a look at her before and after shots. So Laurie, when you look at this and you see your breast before the surgery, what do you see?
Something that I wanted to make look younger and rejuvenate.
I like that. How does it make you feel when you see that now?
Very thankful and excited.
Thankful for Dr. Barson's
Yes.
technology.
Yes.
Dr. Barson, is this a permanent procedure?
Yes, it is.
You say it's permanent, but people feel a facelift is permanent, but yet they go back and have a bit of a top-up.
That is a possibility. However, the breast doesn't go through that kind of changes later in life as a rule, like it does with pregnancy or something like that.
Well, saying that, I wanted to ask you, Dr. Barson, would you recommend having a breast lift before you have children?
Actually, after, I think.
After.
The changes with pregnancy and lactation are pretty extreme sometimes, and you just don't want to do that before because you're going to lose it.
Laurie, how long had you been considering having this procedure?
For quite a few years.
Okay. What bra size were you before the procedure?
A double D.
And you are now?
A D.
How does that make you feel?
Lots younger and more confident.
When you say confident, did you feel your breasts were too large?
Absolutely too large.
And what was that feeling of when you see women out there with large breasts like you had?
I think they must be very uncomfortable and that they can do something about it.
Why did you finally decide to do it?
I don't know, you get up to a certain point in your life and you know, you think if it makes you feel better, do it.
I love these answers because the women who are sitting at home go, oh, sometimes it's just for women who feel vain. But I like that you said it's for you. It's your choice. That's really important. Dr. Barson, how long does this procedure take? Now, we had two types here. We had the breast lift and a little bit of liposuction on the breast as well.
In total, it probably took about 3 hours.
How long is the recovery?
Recovery is usually about a week to 10 days when we take the stitches out. And then after that, it's a slow healing process over 6 months, but most of it takes place in the first month.
Why liposuction?
Because she didn't want a more invasive procedure.
Did you realize when you first went to see Dr. Barson that you could have liposuction and a breast lift?
Yes.
Oh, you knew all about it? You'd done your research?
Yes.
How did you do your research?
Talk to people mostly.
And when you were asking them, what were the type of questions that you asked?
About pain and you know how long you would be out of commission.
How long before you felt your natural self again? Was it what you thought it would be?
Yeah, probably about a month. You know, there wasn't much pain or anything like that.
Really?
But there really wasn't.
Are you happy with the results?
Yes.
What about you, Dr. Barson?
If she's happy, I'm happy.
I love that. What have your family and friends said? Have they seen a size change for you?
It hasn't been that drastic, so not really.
Okay, but you feel that's been quite a dramatic change.
Yes.
Do you feel the clothes are fitting you better now?
Yeah, and they do fit better. Like some things were really tight or across my chest and things like that, and now I just don't notice that as much.
Dr. Barson, I want to bring in a friend of mine that had a breast reduction, okay, and a breast lift at the same time. And she had very large boobs. And I've always known her to have that for 25 years. When she had them done, I think it was harder for me to accept that she had it done because I thought to myself, you're no longer that woman that I knew.
Troy, it's not about you.
I know, but you know.
It's not about you, it's about her.
I know, but what I'm trying to get at is you said that not a lot of people saw the difference, but you did. And she kept saying to me, it's about my comfort, Troy. It's not about what you remember me as. And I think that's a really great thing that people feel out there. And you were saying it's about you and your choices in life with your surgery. That's what you wanted to have done. You said you're feeling more confident. You're going to the gym, are you doing anything?
Yes,
You're out there exercising. Did you feel that you couldn't do that before?
It's a lot more comfortable now doing it.
I love that. That's what it's really all about, regaining your confidence and being comfortable in your own skin. Being a younger you is about three things: physical, emotional, and inspirational. You need to be happy and confident in all three areas. And that could mean a breast lift is right for you. For more information about the show, please visit our website at theyoungeryou.tv, and I'll see you next week. Next week on The Younger You, we're showing you how to make your ears look smaller with a procedure known as ear pinning. The Younger You set provided by Madison McCord Interiors.